Right, Honorable Chair. I want to give some feedback. You know I like to give you feedback. And I'm sure you will take it in good faith. This feedback is not for you, eh? It's for the chair. So you need to calm down. As I see there's a lot of excitement. I'm giving feedback to the chair. Not to you, Yellow Girl, or anyone else. So, Right Honorable, let me give you the feedback.
You know how we always... Honorable Lob, we know how we always get feedback. Me and you, we shall discuss. For now, for now, I am working for the whole house.
So allow me to raise my procedural matter right. Madam Chair, I was raising a procedural issue.
Madam Chair, the committee proposes...
Madam Chair, you allowed my procedural issue. Madam Chair, you allowed my point of procedure.
Can I look at clause 2 first, then I'll give you space.
Madam Chair,
it's about clause 2 also.
No, let him first.
Madam Chair, please listen to the point of procedure and then rule. It is you going to rule. The point of procedure is even about the clause he wants to embark on.
You wait, and he gives us his... Switch on.
Thank you, Madam Chair. That wasn't too hard. You see, Madam Chair, and this is the procedural matter that I want to raise. I have said here severally that the majority can have their way, but the minority must have their say. It's very important. Madam Chair, Rule 214, 215, Sub-Rule 2. This is about dissent from decision of the majority. The member of the committee dissenting from a decision of the majority shall be given time to present the statement of reasons referred to. Honorable Chair, we were here battling literally for space. Honorable Dur hardly read his report. I think he had read a quarter way. A number of the others, you were saying 2 minutes. Madam Chair, this rule does not refer to two sides. It refers to a member of the committee with a dissenting opinion. There can be 10, there can be 20 dissenting opinions. Each of those members is accorded space in these rules. Madam Chair.
Yes.
And so I'm asking procedurally, Madam Chair. Are you saying that the views on our end, you do not want to entertain them? You don't think we add value because of the way the haggling has been happening?
Honorable members.
Our colleagues, you were saying they're going to upload the minority reports. But our colleagues the other side used 40 minutes to present their report, majority report.
Thank you.
Each minority report is meant to be accorded similar space. And that's all we are asking for. You people have got the numbers to do anything. You can even choose that tomorrow the sun will not rise because you have the numbers after all. So I don't know why you panic too much.
Honorable.
Our end has always just been asking, Madam Chair, accord us space. And that's what we have been asking for.
Procedure?
But it's been a fight. So my procedural question to you, Madam Chair, are you saying our views on our...
No,
are you saying, Madam Chair, that the views on our end are irrelevant? They don't add any value? We want to know because of the way we are being treated.
Okay.
In the committee, you've heard the testimonies of our colleagues, Madam Chair.
Can I
They
respond?
told you they were not being... Let me finish in a minute, Madam Chair. You had our colleagues on the committee. Even in the committee, they were struggling to get space there. We thought that when we come here, our leader, who is the leader for all of us, you'll be able to accord space to all of us. Because, Madam Chair, when you sit in that chair, you become a referee. you're not even supposed to descend into the arena to participate in debate. And we feel like you're not protecting us, Madam Chair, to air out our views. Are we irrelevant to you and to this House, Madam Chair? I would want to know.
Honorable members, Honorable Sanyonyi is a very good friend of mine. And Honorable Sanyonyi, I don't love people who play double standards. When you came and told me thank you for giving my members time, as I asked, he thanked me. He thanked me for giving his members time. That's number one. Number two, I want you to listen to this. Number two, you know me, you don't whisper to me because I call a spade a spade. Number two, a member of the committee dissenting from the decision of the majority shall be given time. Time is not specified. I gave Honorable Nwagaba less than 5 minutes. He finished. He presented. Honorable Gilbert, he presented. No. I am the one speaking. I am the one speaking. I gave, Gilbert did not complain, everybody. And this time, we are past there. We are at committee stage. Can we go to committee stage? Two, you go to committee stage.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Madam Chair, the committee proposes to amend clause 2 of the bill as follows. The first amendment in sub-clause 1 by deleting the words any person who acts as. The second one by substituting for sub-clause 2 the following. Procedure. For avoidance of doubt, this act applies to an agent of a foreigner who engages in any of the following activities through any means, including the use of digital platform.
I will give you after.
Engage in political activities in Uganda to further the interests of a foreigner.
I'll give you when it reaches
B.
that
Solicit, collect, disperse, or dispense contributions, loans, money, or other things of value for the purpose of financing or sponsoring political activities to further the interests of a foreigner. C. Represent the interest of a foreigner before any agency or official of government of Uganda for the purpose of engaging in political activities in Uganda. D. Recruit, contract, engage, enter into a partnership or sponsor any person in Uganda to promote the interests of a foreigner for the purpose of engaging in political activities in Uganda. E. Agree, consent, assume, or purport to act as, or who is or holds himself or herself out to promote the interest of a foreigner against the interests of Ugandans.
No, I have a procedural issue to raise.
F, without the approval of cabinet, influences the development of a policy of government or implements a policy of government. And G, influence the public to oppose the policy of government. Another amendment, Madam Chair, by inserting immediately after subclause 3 the following. For avoidance of doubt,
Madam
and
Chair,
notwithstanding the
right
provisions of this section,
is
this act shall not apply to monies or funding received from a foreigner by a supervised institution or a person or institution regulated by a regulatory body and an act of parliament for purposes of meeting its regulatory requirements or for purposes of undertaking its commercial, licensed or permitted activity under an act of parliament. B, a health or medical facility for purposes of performing an activity permitted under the laws of Uganda to be undertaken by a health or medical facility. C, an academic or research institution for purposes of funding research and innovation or any other education activity permitted under the laws of Uganda to be undertaken by an academic or research institution. D, a person for commercial, domestic, or family use. E, faith-based organizations for activities that are connected with the mission of the faith-based organization. Another amendment under clause 5, nothing in this, not clause 5, clause 2, paragraph 5, nothing in this act shall be construed as prohibiting or requiring compliance with this act for lawful foreign direct investment, portfolio investment, diaspora remittances, export proceeds, trade finance, commercial loans, humanitarian assistance, technical assistance, grants, concessional financing, development assistance, or any other lawful foreign exchange inflow or outflow and related activities. Justification, Madam Chair, to harmonize the provision with the scope of the bill as provided in clause 2, and to clarify the scope of the bill to avoid the possibility of extending the bill to any person and activity beyond the scope of the bill. I beg to move.
Honourable Minister.
Right Honourable Speaker and members, I concur.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. Madam Chair, we didn't have opportunity, but first of all, I wanted to be on record that the committee have done great work compared to the original bill. Because, Madam Chair, I engage a lot on international issues and finance. If we had, you have opted to leave it out. If we had handled the interpretation clause, it would have made the remaining clause for us to move smoothly. But you have opted like that. It is now going to create for us, because interpretation means a lot. It's virtually 90%. Issues of foreign agent is what has disturbed us for all this time. So I wanted to request, Madam Chair, that after handling clause 2, we go back to clause 1, handle interpretation, because it sorts out the bill entirely and really closes the matter.
I agree with you.
Thank you.
I put a question that clause 2 be amended as proposed. Those in favor sign, the contrary nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 2 as amended.
I put a question that clause 2 as amended stands part of the bill. Those in favor sign, the contrary nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 1.
Clause 1.
Madam Chair, the committee proposes to amend clause 1 as follows. The first one is by substituting for the definition of agent of a foreigner the following. Agent of a foreigner means a person who engages in any of the activities referred to in section 2 as an agent, representative, or employee of a foreigner on the order, request, supervision, or under the direction or control of a foreigner, or while being financed or subsidized by a foreigner. Another amendment in the definition of disruptive activities by deleting paragraph C. Another one.
E.
Oh, sorry, paragraph E. Another one is by substituting for the definition of foreigner the following. Foreigner includes a non-Ugandan citizen who engages, undertakes, supervises, controls, finances, or subsidizes the activities specified in section 2.2. B, a foreign government, consulate, high commission, embassy, or other diplomatic mission which engages, undertakes, supervises, controls, finances, or subsidizes the activities specified in section 2.2. And C, a corporation, non-government organization, or any legal entity, incorporated, unincorporated, or registered outside Uganda, which engages, undertakes, supervises, controls, finances, or subsidizes the activities specified in section 2.2. D, an international or multinational organization which engages, undertakes, supervises, controls, finances, or subsidizes the activities specified in section 2.2. Another amendment by deleting the definition of person. Another one by inserting the following definitions in their appropriate alphabetical order. F. Activities means any activity aimed at influencing the enactment of legislation, the formulation of policy, or the decision making of government or the people of Uganda, and includes A. Fundraising, sponsoring, registering, nominating, supporting, or campaigning for candidate in an election. B. Registering, funding, and campaigning for a political party in an election. C. Fundraising, campaigning, canvassing for support, supporting or opposing a political party or a candidate in an election. D. Any activities aimed at influencing the outcome of an election. E. Any activities aimed at influencing the will and consent of the people of Uganda to determine who shall govern them and how they should be governed. F. Any activities aimed at influencing, imposing, or normalizing ideologies which are inconsistent with the Constitution or which conflict with any culture, customs, or norms of any of the communities listed in the third schedule of the Constitution. Another definition is interest of a foreigner, means interest of a foreigner that are aligned with the principles. I will come again. Interest of a foreigner means interest of a foreigner that are not aligned with the principles and laws adopted by Uganda. Another, I will come again. Interest of a foreigner means interests of a foreigner that are not aligned with the principles and laws adopted by government. Interests of Uganda means the national interests of Uganda based on the principles of national interest and common good enshrined in the national objectives and directive principles of state policy as provided for in the Constitution, laws of Uganda, and government policy. Foreign policy means a policy developed by a foreigner. Government policy means a statement, decision, or actions of government on how a sector is regulated or governed, issued in accordance with the Constitution and laws of Uganda. Interest of Ugandans means the interests of Uganda. Justification to limit the application of the bill to only agents of foreigners and not any other person. Second, the amendments are intended to harmonize the definitions with the scope of the bill as provided in Clause 2. The other one is under the definition of foreigner to exclude the application of the bill to Ugandan citizens residing outside Uganda. To remove the power of the minister to declare any person a foreigner under the definition of a foreigner. And under the definition of the phrase disruptive activities, to remove the restriction on the recruitment and employment of persons, which was broad. And finally, to define words and phrases which are used in the bill in order to enhance clarity. I beg to move, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Honorable Baka, where would you place the honorary councils? Like the Kirumiras, like the Wawamunos, who represent other countries in our country?
There are diplomatic missions, Madam Chair.
If they are diplomatic missions, then you're going to consider them foreigners.
Right, Honorable Chair. Naturally, a diplomatic mission has an interest of a foreign state. That's their interest here. So if I take up that job as a diplomat, as an honorary counsel here, I'm here to represent the interests of the other countries. So they'll be covered by that. But only if they do the activities in 2.2. Only if they do the activities in 2.2. In Clause 2.2.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. We, in the definition, we have talked of foreign policy to refer to the policy of foreigners. Are we sure in the whole law we don't mention foreign policy of Uganda? Because there is, I believe there is where we say we are protecting also our interests like foreign policy. So now if we limit foreign policy to mean policies of the outside, what about our foreign policy?
Chair, the second one, it answers together.
Well, that one is qualified later on in the bill. It's clearly stated foreign policy of Uganda. Everywhere else where you have foreign policy, it means a foreign government. But foreign policy of Uganda is clearly set out.
Thank you, Chair. Can the Attorney General also help me? In the cases where you have dual citizenship, in the cases of dual citizenship, because I know there are Ugandans who have acquired dual citizenship, them regarding this issue of foreigner, because I know even in this house.
Even those are citizens of
Yes.
Uganda, so they're excluded.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. Madam Chair, the issue of having political parties, because this clause basically, the purpose of this bill is to deny political parties and civil society to receive resources that are not declared. We have the NRM that have been receiving funding from partner parties like from China. Now with this, they are putting a rope on their neck. That is true. So I'm just telling you, are putting a rope on your neck.
Honorable, if I had it well, all those with the acts of parliament, we have the Political Parties Act. All those are entitled, including FDC. So you're not excluded. You can receive your money from wherever because you have an act of parliament that supports you.
Chair.
Huh? Yes?
Right, Honorable Speaker and members, I want to agree with the chairperson, except I want to refer members to interest of a foreigner and edit out principles and replace them with policies and laws adopted by government. Policies, not principles.
Thank you. Madam Chair, as you consult, I would like the Attorney General to clarify on this. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Honorable Minister was making an amendment. Can you rephrase the amendment you're making?
I said we were on clause 2.
On the definition.
And I referred honorable members to interest of a foreigner to mean interests of a foreigner that are not aligned with the policies and laws adopted by government, not principles.
Okay. AG?
We agree with the principle that has been set out in the amendment. I think the issue is the government has policies, not principles, has policies. So we want to amend that to read policies and laws developed and adopted by government of Uganda.
Thank you. I put a question that clause 1 be amended as proposed by the committee and further amended by the AG. Those in favor say and the contrary nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 1 as amended.
I put a question that clause 1 as amended stands part of the bill. Those in favor say and the contrary nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 3.
Clause 3.
Madam Chair, the committee proposes to amend clause 3 as follows. Clause 3 of the bill is amended by inserting immediately before the word ministry, appearing in the third line, the word relevant. Justification: to require the department to consult the relevant ministry while implementing the act. I beg to move.
Chair. Minister.
No objection.
Okay. Yes.
You see, there's a bill we passed recently to make it vague, because you see, this bill is about financial flows. Now, when you say relevant ministry, why don't we say minister responsible for finance, so that it is very clear? Because when you leave it vague like this, we'll have a challenge.
AG.
Right, Honorable Chair, this bill is not about financial flows. This bill is about influencing policy making in Uganda. So every different ministry has its own policy that it is entitled to handle. So it's not about money. This bill is not about money. It's about influencing policy-making decision in Uganda.
I put a question that clause 3 be amended as proposed. Those in favor say on the contrary, nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 3 as amended.
I put a question that clause 3 as amended stands part of the bill. Those in favor say on the contrary, nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 4.
Clause 4.
Madam Chair, the committee proposes to amend clause 4 as follows. Clause 4 of the bill is amended in subclause 1 in paragraph D by inserting the words "or foreign nationals," and in paragraph H by inserting the word "perform" immediately before the word "any." Justification: to restrict the bill to only agents of foreigners as prescribed in clause 2. I beg to move.
Honorable Minister.
No objection.
AG.
No objection.
I put a question that clause 4 be amended as proposed. Those in favor say on the contrary, nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 4 as amended.
I put a question that clause 4 as amended stands part of the bill. Those in favor say on the contrary, nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 5.
Clause 5, Chair.
Madam Chair, the committee proposes to amend clause 5 as follows. Clause 5 of the bill is amended in subclauses 3 by substituting for the words "a person" the words "an agent of a foreigner." By substituting for subclause 4 the following: an agent of a foreigner who intentionally promotes the interests of a foreigner against the interests of Uganda commits an offense and is liable on conviction to, in the case of a legal entity, to a fine not exceeding 100,000 currency points, and in the case of an individual, to a fine not exceeding 50,000 currency points, or to imprisonment for a term not exceeding 10 years, or both. Justification: to restrict the bill to only agents of foreigners as prescribed in clause 2, to make the penalty and fine proportionate to the offense, and finally to provide for criminal intent in the commission of the offense. I beg to move, Madam Chair.
Right, Honorable Speaker and members, our original provisions were for deterrence, knowing that we have the safeguard of court discretion. They were just maximum, but middle ground is okay. We can have the amendments as done by the committee.
The person who what?
The foreign who intentionally promotes.
Who intentionally promotes. How do you gauge intention? The burden of proof.
The burden of proof always lays on the state, which alleges. He who alleges must prove. So the state must prove that was done intentionally.
You okay with the wording?
Yes.
Yes.
I would request that we rephrase the interest of a foreigner, because if, for example, we promote the interest of Kenya that wants a road to pass the standard gauge railway, for example, to pass Tororo and head to the north, and the government wants the standard gauge to come to Kampala. Me coming from the east, I want it to go to the north to promote trade. And if it is being promoted by the government of Kenya, I will support that idea. And I might be criminalized.
Honorable Eki, you're reading this in isolation. It is saying of a foreigner against the interest of Uganda. SGR is not against the interest of Uganda. It is in favor of Uganda. Don't read in piecemeals.
Reading in piecemeal. In that case, the interest of Uganda will be SGR to come to Kampala. Kenya's interest is to come to the to go to the north.
I put a question that clause 5 be amended as proposed. Those in favor say on the contrary, nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 5 as amended.
I put a question that clause 5 as amended stands part of the bill. Those in favor say on the contrary, nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 6.
Chair.
Madam Chair, the committee proposes to amend clause 6 as follows. Clause 6 of the bill is amended in subclause 2 by deleting the words a person. In subclause 3 by deleting the words any person or. By substituting for subclause 4 the following. An agent of a foreigner who intentionally performs the functions or offers services for which the government is responsible for without the approval of the relevant government agency commits an offense and is liable on conviction in the case of a legal entity to a fine not exceeding 100,000 currency points, and in the case of an individual to a fine not exceeding 50,000 currency points, or to imprisonment for a term not exceeding 10 years or both. In subclause 5, by substituting for the word a person, the words an agent of a foreigner. Justification: to restrict the bill to only agents of foreigners as prescribed in clause 2, and to make intention an element of the offense, and to make the penalty proportionate to the offense. I beg to move.
Minister.
I concur, Right Honourable Speaker.
AG.
No objection, Right Honourable Speaker.
I put a question that clause 6 be amended as proposed. Those in favor stand the contrary, nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 6 as amended.
I put a question that clause 6 as amended stands part of the bill. Those in favor stand the contrary, nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 7.
Chair.
Clause 7, Madam Chair, is proposed to be amended as follows. Clause 7 of the bill is amended in subclause 3 by deleting the words a person or. By substituting for subclause 4 the following. An agent of a foreigner who knowingly develops a policy without the approval of cabinet commits an offense and is liable on conviction in the case of a legal entity to a fine not exceeding 100,000 currency points, and in case of an individual to a fine not exceeding 50,000 currency points, or to imprisonment for a term not exceeding 10 years or both. In subclause 5, by deleting the words and implementing. Justification: to restrict the bill to only agents of foreigners as prescribed in clause 2, to provide for criminal intent in the commission of the offense, to make the penalty proportionate to the offense, to harmonize clause 7, paragraph 5 relating to development of government policy, and clause 8, paragraph 8 relating to implementation of government policy. I beg to move.
Minister.
I want to draw the attention of members to subclause 4. An agent of a foreigner who knowingly develops, I want to add, and implements a policy without the approval of cabinet commits an offense and is liable on conviction, blah, blah, blah. So I want that we amend by adding and implements.
Implements.
I concur with the amendment given by the Minister.
Have you looked at 5 from the committee's recommended from the report, where they say the minister may by regulation prescribe the procedure and the requirements for formulating and implementing the policy of government. So you're deleting that. By implementing.
We are adding to 4, where they say knowingly develops. An agent of a foreigner who knowingly develops. To develop, you may develop it and keep it in your mind. But we want to add and implements. So if you develop it in your mind and attempt to implement it here, that's when you commit an offense. So in 5, we are saying that if you want to implement a policy that you've come up with, you have a policy. You go and you tell government what policy you have, and they will tell you how to implement it in Uganda.
Yes. Yes,
Madam Chair.
Christine.
Chair.
Christine.
Chair, I am of the view that knowingly developing a policy and implementing it, what will happen to institutions like Red Cross that come in disasters and they don't need that other approval? So to qualify it other than
Red Cross is not an agent of foreigners. They are funded by government.
It is a legal entity that sometimes represents foreigners. Yes.
No.
Yes.
Not unlawfully.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
I want making a proposal that we amend and replace the word without approval of cabinet and say without approval of government, because sometimes we debate here and the courts and the other government agencies. So when we restrict and tie ourselves only to cabinet, we are surrendering too much power and making cabinet to be. So I'm proposing that instead of cabinet, we say without approval of government. That is better definition. Government is broad. It has nothing. And include cabinet.
Cabinet
No,
is vague.
government is not the policy making organ.
Christian,
It's cabinet by
the
constitution.
Red Cross
By
is a
constitution,
creation.
cabinet.
Red Cross is a creation of the Geneva Convention, and we are bound to abide by it. So it is not a foreign. Yes, AG. Yes.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. Madam Chair, a policy is a plan. It can be some frameworks, and some of these institutions may come up with these frameworks and run to implement them, especially in the local governments, without government approval. So I don't see any problem. Yes, I don't see any problem with maintaining what the committee has presented with the amendment of a foreigner developing and implementing a policy without the approval of cabinet. Government is too broad. Let's leave it as cabinet, because it's cabinet's responsibility to actually approve policies in this government. So let's leave it with the cabinet. The policy must be approved by cabinet.
Madam Chair, you had picked me. You had picked me, Madam Chair.
Honourable members, policy formulation is an executive role. So by the time it is put there that cabinet should do it, because when you put government, even us then, Parliament will also do the same, local government, even Malera. So the amendment, just a minute.
Right, Honorable Chair.
Just a minute.
The committee proposed to amend clause 7.4 to read an agent of a foreigner who knowingly develops a policy. We are proposing that we are saying an agent of a foreigner who knowingly develops and implements a policy. And we are proposing that in subclause 5, the minister may, they're proposing to delete and implementing, we are proposing that and implementing remains. That's the amendment.
That's what I said.
Yes.
That's what I said. What is 5? That is what? 7.
Clarification.
You can give information.
I'm here as Lop. Lop has appointed me.
Honourable members, I put a question that clause 7 be amended as proposed by the committee and further amended by the Attorney General. Those in favor say and the contrary nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 7 as amended.
I put a question that clause 7 as amended stands part of the bill. Those in favor say and the contrary nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 8.
Clause 8.
Madam Chair, Clause 8 is amended. It is proposed by the committee to amend as follows. By deleting subclause 1, and in subclause 3, by deleting the words a person or, by deleting the word implement. In subclause 4, by deleting the words a person or, the person or, wherever the words appear in the provision. By deleting subclause 5. In subclause 6, by deleting the words a person or. By substituting for the words the person or agent, the words an agent of a foreigner. And in subclause 7, by substituting for the words a person, the words an agent of a foreigner. Justification to restrict the bill to only agents of foreigners as prescribed in clause 2. Subclause 5 is deleted in order to remove unnecessary bureaucracy in implementation of policy and to harmonize clause 3 and 4 of the provision. I beg to move.
Honorable AG, after reinstating implementation, this becomes subsequential. So we cannot delete it. Yes.
Right, Honorable Chair and members, if it is a policy of government that has been adopted by government, anyone can implement that policy in Uganda, so long as it is government policy. So if you write here, an agent of a foreigner shall not implement government policy, then that will be contradictory. Anyone can implement government policy, but it must be a policy of government. We have friends of ours who are in a humanitarian community. They come to assist us build schools, build boreholes. That is okay because it's government policy. But you cannot implement a policy which is not government policy. So I agree with the committee on their proposed amendment.
You agree with the committee on the division of implementation?
Chair, what happens where the government does not have a policy?
Again, Right Honourable Chair, that has been provided for as well. If government does not have a policy on a particular matter and a member feels, if government does not have a policy on that matter, then you should take that bright idea to cabinet to adopt the policy and then implement it.
Honourable members, I put a question that clause 8 be amended as proposed. Those in favor stand the contrary nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 8 as amended.
I put a question that clause 8 as amended stands part of the bill. Those in favor say aye, the contrary nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 9.
Foreign policy.
Madam Chair, the committee proposes to amend Clause 9 as follows. Clause 9 of the bill is amended by, in the head note, by inserting immediately after the word policy, the words of Uganda. In subclause 4, by deleting the words a person or. Justification: to restrict the bill to only agents of foreigners as prescribed in Clause 2, and to provide clarity on the head note.
Minister.
I agree, Chair, because we need to distinguish between Uganda's policy and the foreign policy of other countries.
No objection.
I put a question that Clause 9 be amended as proposed. Those in favor say on the contrary nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 9 as amended.
I put a question that Clause 9 as amended stands part of the bill. Those in favor say on the contrary nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 10.
10.
Madam Chair, the committee proposes to amend Clause 10 as follows. In the head note, by deleting the words of another country. In subclause 1, by substituting for the words a person the words an agent of a foreigner. By substituting for subclause 2 the following: an agent of a foreigner who engages in any activity, solicits, receives, or obtains any assistance from a foreigner to sponsor or organize a meeting or any function with the aim of promoting foreign policy in Uganda that has not been adopted by Cabinet as government policy, commits an offense and is liable on conviction in the case of a legal entity to a fine not exceeding 100,000 currency points, and in the case of an individual to a fine not exceeding 50,000 currency points, or to imprisonment for a term not exceeding 10 years, or both. By inserting immediately after subclause 2 the following: the minister may, in consultation with the Cabinet, by regulations, prescribe the procedure for adopting foreign policy. Justification: to restrict the bill to only agents of foreigners as prescribed in Clause 2. To empower the minister to prescribe the procedure for adopting in Uganda the foreign policy of another country, and to make the penalty proportionate to the offense. I beg to move, Madam Chair.
Minister.
No objection, Chair.
AG.
No objection, Right Honourable Chair.
I put a question that Clause 10 be amended as proposed. Those in favor say on the contrary nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 10 as amended.
I put a question that Clause 10 as amended stands part of the bill. Those in favor say on the contrary nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 11.
Clause 11.
Madam Chair, the committee proposes to amend Clause 11 as follows. Clause 11 is amended by substituting for subclause 3 the following: an agent of a foreigner who intentionally influences the will and consent of any person to decide on how he or she shall be governed contrary to subsection 1 commits an offense and is liable on conviction in the case of a legal entity to a fine not exceeding 100,000 currency points, and in the case of an individual to a fine not exceeding 50,000 currency points, or to imprisonment for a term not exceeding 10 years, or both. In subclause 4, by substituting for the words a person the words an agent of a foreigner. Justification: to restrict the bill to only agents of foreigners as prescribed in Clause 2, and to make the penalty and fine proportionate to the offense. I beg to move, Madam Chair.
Minister.
No objection, Chair.
AG.
No objection.
Clarification. Clarification, Chair.
I put a question that Clause 11 be amended as proposed. Those in favor say on the contrary nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 11 as amended.
I put a question that clause 11 as amended stands part of the bill. Those in favor say and the contrary nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 12.
Clause 12.
Madam Chair, Clause 12 is proposed to be amended as follows. Clause 12 of the bill is amended in subclauses 1 by deleting the words a person or by substituting for subclause 2 the following. An agent of a foreigner who engages in any activity or solicits, receives or obtains any assistance from a foreigner to sponsor, organize a meeting, or any function with the aim of interfering with the operations of government, commits an offense, and is liable on conviction, in the case of a legal entity, to a fine not exceeding 100,000 currency points, and in the case of an individual, to a fine not exceeding 50,000 currency points, or to imprisonment for a term not exceeding 10 years, or both, by inserting immediately after subclause 2 the following. For purposes of this, agent of a foreigner interferes with operations of government if the agent of a foreigner intentionally obstructs, impairs, hinders, or opposes a public officer or any other person occupying a public office from performing his or her functions. Justification: to restrict the bill to only agents of foreigners as prescribed in Clause 2, to define what amounts to interfering with the operations of government in order to comply with the legality principle enumerated under Article 28, Clause 12 of the Constitution, to make the penalty and fine proportionate to the offense. I beg to move, Madam Chair.
Minister.
No objection.
Okwalinga.
Have no objection.
Okwalinga.
Thank you so much, Madam Chair. Madam Chair, the clarification I wanted to seek from our land Attorney General relates to the matter that concerns the sanctions that we give to, that we have mentioned in the law to somebody who has attempted to influence our policy, especially when it comes to an embassy. Because whereas a legal entity, we can follow up the directors. If it is a foreign individual, we can follow the individual. What about if it's an embassy, a government, a foreign government? Whom do we sanction when it's the foreign government who has actually sponsored or influenced our foreign policy? Do we put sanctions and dismiss them from Uganda? We need to clarify on that. Thank you.
Additional information. Madam Chair, on top of that one, in this very house, it is on record that the persons who attempted either to promote either the foreign policies, I wanted to know, because like homosexuality in this very house, they are citizens of this country. Okay, wait. Okay, maybe let me leave that one. Okay. I could leave that one. Let me have others. Madam Chair, secondly, there are
Honorable.
Okay, I will withdraw that one. I withdraw.
Honorable, I said we needed a legitimate debate at a time of homosexuality. Honorable Fox Odo is married to 2 beautiful women. He's not a homosexual. He does not promote.
He's not a foreign agent.
And he's withdraw.
Madam Chair,
not in this house.
I beg to withdraw that one on the basis that he's married to 2 women. But Madam Chair, the last one, this one is a bit very complicated because there are many churches in this country, many churches coming up in Uganda. Some of them in particular tell people not to go for formal treatment. Some of them instruct citizens not to go to hospital to get formal medication. People eventually say and die in churches. And just a moment, I'm just thinking because you don't know whether the Bible is foreign. We want to be sure whether the Bible, my land colleague Attorney General.
There is one called Kibwetere, you remember?
Yes. They block Uganda.
You mentioned the name.
They block Uganda through faith from going to seek medication. Now,
you mentioned the name Kibwetere.
Like Kibwetere. They are blocking citizens of this country. My land attorney, my dear land colleague, my dear land attorney general, I want you to know, are these foreign interests, where does the Bible belong? So that we know whether they are agents of foreigners. I beg.
Yes,
Madam
Moses,
Chair.
Moses.
Madam Chair, maybe Attorney General will clarify this too.
Moses.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair. I just wanted to seek indulgence of the Attorney General. Instead of saying intentions, say knowingly influence. We use the word knowingly.
Knowingly, that?
Yes, thank you.
And that is what
Chair.
I said at the beginning.
Chair, I needed some clarity from the Attorney General on this.
Yes, it is clause 12. Instead of saying intention or intended, you say unknowingly influenced. They are not the same, but can they be used interchangeably? That's what I'm seeking.
Eji, what is your comment on this?
Chair, could respond at once.
Do we move by what?
Yes, we can use the knowingly. I agree. I have no objection to that.
Whatever intention.
Yeah, you can say knowingly or intentionally.
Yes.
Chair.
Knowingly. Knowingly, wherever intentionally appears.
Yes, I agree.
Yes. Attorney General needs to clarify this. I'm a little bit lost on what amounts to disrupting government operations. For example, our policy is that citizens must be treated here. But we have a number of well-to-do government officials who choose to go for medication out of the country. It means they will be promoting the foreign interests of that country. So
Honorable members, I put a question. I put a question that clause 12 be amended as proposed and knowingly replaces intentionally wherever it appears. Those in the favor say and the contrary nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 12 as amended.
I put a question that clause 12 as amended stands part of the bill. Those in favor say and the contrary nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 13.
Prohibition of economic sabotage.
Madam Chair, the committee proposes to amend clause 13 as follows. Clause 13 is substituted with the following. Prohibition of economic sabotage is the head note. An agent of a foreigner who knowingly publishes false information or participates in any disruptive act or activity that weakens, undermines, or damages the economic system or viability of the country to cause economic disruption, insecurity, or instability, commits an offense of economic sabotage and is liable on conviction in the case of a legal entity to a fine not exceeding 100,000 currency points, and in the case of an individual to a fine not exceeding 50,000 currency points, or to imprisonment for a term not exceeding 10 years, or both. Justification: to restrict the bill to only agents of foreigners as prescribed in clause 2, to provide for criminal intent in the commission of the offense, and to make the penalty proportionate to the offense. I beg to move, Madam Chair.
Minister.
No objection.
AG.
No objection.
Kanya, I'm tired. I put a question that clause 13 be amended as proposed. Those in favor say on the contrary nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 13 as amended.
I put a question that clause 13 as amended stands part of the bill. Those in favor say and the contrary nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 14.
Clause 14. I put a question that clause 14 stands part of the bill. Those in favor say and the contrary nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 15.
I put a question that clause 15 stands part of the bill. Those in favor say and the contrary nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 16.
Clause 16.
Madam Chair, we propose to amend clause 16 as follows. Clause 16 of the bill is amended in subclause 1 by deleting all the words appearing after the word applicant, by inserting immediately after subclause 1 the following: the department shall within 14 days from the date the application is forwarded to the department under subsection 1 conduct inquiries to ascertain the suitability of the applicant and the application and the applicant and make a recommendation to the minister. In subclause 2, in paragraph A, by deleting the words mental and physical health, by substituting for paragraph B the following: in the case of an applicant who is an individual, whether the applicant has been convicted of an offense and sentenced to a term of imprisonment without the option of a fine. In the case of a company or any other legal entity, whether a director of the applicant has been convicted of an offense which renders him or her incapable of being appointed director in accordance with the applicable law, by inserting immediately after subclause 5 the following: the department shall, in considering an application under this section, comply with the rules of natural justice. Justification: to harmonize the requirement to conduct a mental health and physical health examination on a person applying to be an agent of a foreigner, since a person's mental and physical health have nothing to do with his or her ability to be an agent of a foreigner. Subjecting an applicant to mental and physical health examination when he or she is not suffering from a mental illness conflicts with the Mental Health Act, and to prescribe the time frame within which an application shall be determined by the department, and to ensure rules of natural justice are complied with during the application for a certificate. I beg to move.
Honorable Minister, where they say the department shall within 14 days from the date the application is forwarded by the department, why don't we say received by the department? Because if it is forwarded, say by email, it can take more time, and then you'll not have any evidence of receipt.
I agree, Chair.
So you amend as you.
So we shall substitute forwarding with receipt. Receiving.
Received by
the
the department. Yes. AJ.
Thank you. Madam Chair, on 17.3, we seem to be limiting our inquiries, like the department in the process of conducting the inquiries after Section 2 will require any person, department or agency of government to furnish information. Why are we limiting this information to be given only within the country? For example, if a company, we are trying to register a company, and this company has also operated in other countries, why can't we expand our information? And we include that those countries can also give us information. Why are we limiting only? Because 17.3. Because
we have other laws that can be used to get that information. Yes, Moses.
Thank you, Madam Chair. In my opinion, that clause 16 seems to be an operational matter. This is what would come with instructions or guidelines that would operationalize this act. Because when you talk of the process, these are processes of carrying out a registration. It is more operational than making it appear in the act here. So I would request that this is done away with, and then when you get the guidelines that will operationalize this act, you include that operational activity. This is just so operational.
It is just for avoidance of doubt and limit discretionary powers. Yes. Let it be in the law. Yes.
Short clarification,
I
Madam
hope
Chair.
I'm not responding for you.
Madam Chair, I just was concerned in the process of obtaining a registration. The government issues a certificate. Are there any fees for this person coming to register? Because I don't
That
see
is
it captured.
operational regulations.
It will come under that. Okay.
Yes.
Because again, another concern is if we try to prevent somebody from registering as a foreign agent, won't we be encouraging people to operate underground? We should open it and they should just all come and register. We should lure them to register so that we get all to know all these agents. Other than restricting.
That will still come under procedures. I mean.
Thank you, Right Honorable Chair. Actually, the law is asking them to register. That's what the law is doing. And I agree with the Minister's proposal that where we had forwarded, be deleted, forwarded to, and with the clause
received by.
That the department shall within 14 days from the date the application is received by the department. I beg you submit.
I put a question that clause 16 be amended proposed by the committee and further amended by the minister. Those in favor say on the contrary, nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 16 as amended.
I put a question that clause 16 as amended stands part of the bill. Those in favor say on the contrary, nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 17.
17, certificate of registration.
Madam Chair, the committee proposes to amend clause 17 as follows. Clause 17 of the bill is amended by substituting for clause 1 the following. The minister shall within 14 days from the date of receipt of the recommendation of the department consider the recommendation and may, if satisfied that the application and the applicant meet the requirements of section 16, issue a certificate of registration to the applicant to act as an agent of a foreigner. And in subclause 2, by deleting all words appearing after the word necessary. Justification to harmonize clauses 16 and 17 in order to ensure that the minister only considers the recommendation of the department when making a decision to grant a certificate of registration rather than opening up the application afresh. The amendment of subclause 2 to bring finality to the application and the conditions applicable to the certificate. I beg to move.
Minister.
No objection.
AG.
No objection, Right Honorable Chair.
I put a question that clause 17 be amended as proposed. Those in favor say on the contrary, nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 17 as amended.
I put a question that clause 17 as amended stands part of the bill. Those in favor say on the contrary, nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 18.
18.
Madam Chair, the committee proposes to amend clause 18 by substituting for subclause 1 the following. The minister may refuse to issue a certificate of registration if the department recommends to the minister to deny the application, or the minister is not satisfied that the application or the applicant meets the requirements of section 16. And by substituting for subclause 2 the following. Where the minister refuses to issue a certificate of registration under subsection 1, the minister shall within 14 days from the date of making the decision inform the applicant in writing stating the reasons for the refusal. Justification to harmonize the provision with clause 16 and 17 to remove additional grounds for refusal of a certificate of registration, which grounds are not considered at the time of application, and to require the minister to make a decision on the basis of the recommendation of the department. and also to provide for a time frame within which the minister has to act on a recommendation from the department. I beg to move.
Minister.
No objection.
AG.
No objection.
I put a question that clause 18 be amended as proposed. Those in favor say and the contrary nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 18 as amended.
I put a question that clause 18 as amended stands part of the bill. Those in favor say and the contrary nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 19.
Madam Chair, clause 19 is proposed to be amended as follows. Clause 19 of the bill is amended by inserting immediately after subclause 2 the following. The minister shall consider the application for renewal of a certificate of registration and make a decision within 14 days from the date of receipt of the application for renewal. The minister shall, in considering an application under this section, comply with the rules of natural justice. Justification to prescribe the time frame within which an application for renewal of a certificate of registration shall be made, and to ensure rules of natural justice are complied with during the renewal processes of a certificate. I beg to move.
Minister.
I concur.
AG.
No objection.
I put a question that clause 19 be amended as proposed. Those in favor say and the contrary nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 19 as amended.
I put a question that clause 19 as amended stands part of the bill. Those in favor say and the contrary nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 20.
20.
Madam Chair, clause 20 is proposed to be amended as follows. In subsection 2 by deleting paragraph C and by inserting immediately after subclause 2 the following. The minister shall, while exercising any powers in this section, comply with the rules of natural justice. Justification: a consequential amendment arising from the amendment in clause 18, and to ensure compliance with the rules of natural justice during revocation and suspension of a certificate of registration. I beg to move.
Minister.
No objection.
AG.
No objection, Right Honorable Chair.
I put a question that clause 20 be amended as proposed. Those in favor say and the contrary nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 20 as amended.
I put a question that clause 20 as amended stands part of the bill. Those in favor say and the contrary nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 21.
Clause 21.
Madam Chair, the committee proposes to amend clause 21 in subclause 1 by deleting the words for other, by deleting the words or other person receiving any funding from a foreigner, and by deleting subclause 2. And in subclause 3 by substituting for the words a person the words an agent of a foreigner. Justification: restrict the bill to only agents of foreigners as prescribed in clause 2. And subclause 2 is proposed for deletion since it infringes on the right to privacy and data protection laws.
Minister.
No objection.
AG.
No objection, Right Honorable Chair.
I put a question that clause 21 be amended as proposed. Those in favor say and the contrary nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 21 as amended.
I put a question that clause 21 as amended stands part of the bill. Those in favor say and the contrary nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 22.
I put a Chair.
Madam Chair, the head note for clause 22 is restrictions on funding from foreigners. And it is proposed to be amended in subclause 1 by deleting the words a person or, deleting the word solicit, inserting immediately after the word without the words declaring the funds to, deleting the words the written approval of, by substituting for the subclause 2 the following. An agent of a foreigner who obtains or receives directly or indirectly funds, financial support, donations, loans, or other assistance from a foreigner without declaring funds in accordance with subsection 1 commits an offense and is liable on conviction in the case of a legal entity to a fine not exceeding 100,000 currency points, and in the case of an individual to a fine not exceeding 50,000 currency points, or to imprisonment for a term not exceeding 10 years, or both. And in subclause 3, by deleting the words the person or, and substituting for the words any person the word the agent of a foreigner. And in subclause 4, by substituting the words obtaining the written approval the words declaring the funds. Justification to restrict the bill to only agents of foreigners as prescribed in clause 2, to substitute the requirement to seek for the approval of the minister every time an agent of a foreigner receives funds from abroad for more than 20,000 currency points, with the requirement to declare the funds to the minister, and provide for penalty and fine proportionate to the offense. I beg to move, Madam Chair.
Minister.
An objection.
AG.
No objection, Madam Chair.
I put a question.
Madam Chair, under the current legal regime, the anti-money laundering, the BOU guideline instructions to commercial banks, every fund you receive, you have to submit all the documentation, and then the banks clear, and they keep record. To now, for us, and this is a small amount of money, to seek approval of a minister, really going to create and block investment and trade. It's a serious matter, Madam Chair.
First of all, it is not approval, and secondly, you must put the issue intent. What is the intention of this money coming? Is it for, yes, Moses?
Honorable Kanya, we wanted to limit the discretion of the minister, which was talked about, by removing approval. You just have to declare.
Okay. Then.
Yeah, Madam Chair, mine is just for consistency's sake. Clause 22, restriction of funding from foreigners. This time you are calling them foreigners. In most other instances, you are calling them a foreigner. So we would still have to use the word a foreigner instead of using foreigners this time, for consistency.
For consistent. Yes, foreigner.
I agree.
I put a question that clause 22 be amended as proposed and further amended by Honorable Moses Alepel. Those in favor say aye, to the contrary nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 22 as amended.
I put a question that clause 22 as amended stands part of the bill. Those in favor say on the contrary nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 23.
Chair.
Madam Chair, clause 23 is amended as follows. In subclause 1, by deleting the words a person or, by substituting the word 100, the word 50, and by substituting the word 20, the word 10. In subclause 2, by substituting the word person, the words agent of a foreigner. Justification to restrict the bill to only agents of foreigners as prescribed in clause 2, and to provide for penalty and fine proportionate to the offense. I beg to move.
Minister.
No objection, Chair.
AG.
No objection.
I put a question that clause 23 be amended as proposed. Those in favor say on the contrary nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 23 as amended.
I put a question that clause 23 as amended stands part of the bill. Those in favor say and the contrary nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 24.
24.
Madam Chair, the committee proposes to amend clause 24 as follows. Clause 24 is amended by deleting sub-clause 2. Justification: the disapplication of the Public Finance Management Act contravenes Section 28 of the Public Finance Management Act. I beg to move.
Minister.
I concur.
AG.
I concur.
I put a question that clause 24 be amended as proposed. Those in favor say and the contrary nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 24 as amended.
I put a question that clause 24 as amended stands part of the bill. Those in favor say and the contrary nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 25.
Chair.
Madam Chair, the committee proposes to amend clause 25 as follows. By substituting for sub-clause 1 the following. A person, a supervised institution, shall not pay out any money to an agent of a foreigner without the agent of a foreigner, A, declaring the source of funds, and B, submitting proof of declaration of funds. And in sub-clause 2, by substituting for the word minister, the words relevant regulator. By substituting for sub-clause 3, the following. A supervised institution that contravenes subsection 1 commits an offense and liable on conviction to a fine not exceeding 200 points. Justification: this is a consequential amendment arising from the amendments made to and to make sub-clause 3 a penal provision, breach of which attracts a penalty, and to comply with the Public Finance Management Act in relation to payment of funds into the consolidated fund. I beg to move.
No objection.
AG.
No objection.
I put a question that clause 25 be amended as proposed. Those in favor say and the contrary nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 25 as amended.
I put a question that clause 25 as amended stands part of the bill. Those in favor say and the contrary nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 26.
Madam Chair, the committee proposes to amend clause 26 by substituting for clause 2 the following. An agent of a foreigner who fails to submit returns to the minister as required in subsection 1 commits an offense and is liable on conviction in the case of a legal entity to a fine not exceeding 100,000 currency points, and in the case of an individual to a fine not exceeding 50,000 currency points, or to imprisonment for a term not exceeding 10 years, or both. I beg to move. Unfortunately, we don't have the justification. It is, I think it is a consequential amendment as a result of our earlier amendments.
But it's clear from them, from the penal provisions, they want to make it prohibited.
Minister.
No objection.
AG.
No objection. Right, Honorable Chair.
It's a consequential amendment.
Just the reason that we were dealing with this was the committee reported that they were trying to reduce and rationalize the penalties. So that's what they've done.
I put a question that clause 26 be amended as proposed. Those in favor say and the contrary nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 26 as amended.
I put a question that clause 26 as amended stands part of the bill. Those in favor say and the contrary nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 27.
I put a question that clause 27 stands part of the bill. Those in favor say and the contrary nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 28.
Chair.
Madam Chair, clause 28 is amended in subclause 1 by inserting immediately after the word may, the words upon obtaining a court order. And by deleting that, the word that appears to him or her. In subclause 2, by substituting for the words a person, the words an agent of a foreigner. Justification to restrict the bill to agents of foreigners as prescribed in clause 2, and to require an authorized person to obtain a court order before inspecting premises of an agent of a foreigner.
Minister.
Objection.
AG.
No objection, Right Honorable Chair.
I put a question that clause 28 be amended as proposed. Those in favor say and the contrary nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 28 as amended.
I put a question that clause 28 as amended stands part of the bill. Those in favor say and the contrary nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 29.
29. Clause 29, I put a question that clause 29 stands part of the bill. Those in favor say it. The contrary nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 30.
Chair.
Madam Chair, the committee proposes to amend clause 30 by inserting immediately after the word may, the words in consultation of the minister responsible for finance, and by numbering the existing provision as subclause 1 and inserting immediately after subclause 1 the following: the statutory instrument referred to in subsection 1 shall be laid before Parliament for approval. Justification to require the Minister of Finance to be consulted before amendment on the value of a currency point, and to require the SI statutory instrument to be approved by Parliament. I beg to move, Madam Chair.
Minister.
Right Honorable Chair and colleagues, we propose that clause 30 stands part of the bill as it were to read,
yes.
The minister may by statutory instrument with approval of cabinet amend the schedule to this act. Right Honorable Chair and members, the currency points are not determined by a single minister.
True.
A currency point is a unit created for complete public consumption and use. So the moment cabinet has approved it, it must be brought here, the currency point must be changed, and then the amendment of the schedule would be done. I beg to submit.
It actually has effect on so many laws. I put a question that clause 30 stands part of the bill. Those in favor say and the contrary nay. The ayes have it.
The schedule?
Schedule. I put a question that the schedule stands part of the bill. Those in favor say and the contrary nay. The ayes have it.
Title.
I put a question that the title stands part of the bill. Those in favor say and the contrary nay. The ayes have it.
Motion for the House to resume.
Honorable Minister.
Chair, I beg to move that the House do resume and the Committee of the whole House do report thereto.
I put a question that the House resumes and the Committee of the whole House reports thereto. Those in favor say aye, to the contrary nay. The ayes have it.
Hey, what happened?
Report of the Committee of the whole House.
Please have a seat. Please have a seat.
Report of the Committee of the whole House.
Honorable Minister.
Chair and honorable members, I beg to report that a committee of the whole House has considered the bill entitled The Protection of Sovereignty Bill 2026 and passed clauses 14, 15, 27, 29, and 30, the schedule and title, passed with amendments, clauses 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, and 28.
Motion.
I beg to move.
Motion for adoption of the report of the Committee of the Whole House.
Moses, what do you want?
Actually, clause 28, where you need a minister to get a court order to go and inspect. I just want to give you an example. We have agencies like NEMA. When they have to inspect premises of persons that they have a matter of concern, they don't need to seek a court order. This will bog down the operations of that particular activity. Thank you.
The minister will abuse those powers. Honorable members, I want to be fair to everybody, okay? I am putting a question as to whether we go for the committal on clause 28. Those in favor say, and the contrary nay. The nays have it.
Motion for adoption of the report of the Committee of the Whole House.
Honorable Minister.
Chair and honorable members, I beg to move that the House adopts the report of the Committee of the Whole House.
I put a question that a report of the Committee of the Whole House be adopted by this august House. Those in favor say, and the contrary nay. Yes, honorable members, don't mind about that. Some members are doing accountability. So it's just prudent enough for one to do accountability by
Bill's third reading, the Protection of Sovereignty Bill 2026.
Chair and honorable members, I beg to move that the bill entitled The Protection of Sovereignty Bill 2026 be read the third time and do pass into law.
Honorable members, my quorum still stands at 353. I now put a question that the Protection of Sovereignty Bill 2026 be read the third time and do pass. Those in favor say, and the contrary nay. The ayes have it.
A bill for an act titled The Protection of Sovereignty Act 2026.
The title has been settled and the bill is passed. Honorable members, I want to thank you for the good work you've done, but I also want to thank God for the patience that he gave me. That patience was World War. That was World War patience. But I want to thank all of you for being here to pass this bill. And you've stayed here up to this time. Madam Vice President, Prime Minister, the front row, we are forever grateful. AG, you've done a great job with the minister, together with the committee members. The committee members, we want to thank you and thank all the members of Parliament. Honorable Bua, you're an amazing person. Good job. I told you all I needed was a number. And you gave me the number. I have done your work.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker and honorable colleagues. This has been a monumental achievement, to say the least. The record need to be put right. Right Honorable Speaker, we were accused unfairly. We gave sufficient time to every member. We were stretched to the limit. I am happy that finally the bill has passed.
Thank you. Honorable members.
We want to thank you, Right Honorable Speaker, for the guidance. We want to thank the lead of government business. We want to thank the government chief whip. We want to thank the Attorney General and the minister, the sponsor. But particularly, Right Honorable Speaker, your committees. The Committee of Defense and Internal Affairs, the Committee of Legal and Parliamentary Affairs, they have gone an extra mile. We put in a lot of time.
This is an historic bill because it is our last bill in the 11th Parliament. And because it is an historic bill, and that's why I am saying you're all wonderful people. And I thank you so much. And may the good Lord bless all of you. House adjourned Sunday.